Well, hello, welcome to the spot. I'm Asa Rehman, and the first guest spot goes to someone who started his career with Tranmere Rovers and went on to Leicester City, later became an Indian Super League superstar, all while representing Canada on the international stage, and he's an avid FPL player as well. Ian Hume, thanks so much for joining me.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Looking forward to this.
Always good to chat with you. We'll be holding a head-to-head draft later in this video, so make sure you stick around for that. And I need to know, after seeing Patrick Bamford recently talk about himself on his fantasy team, did you or anyone you know ever think about fantasy stats as a player?
I wouldn't say so. It's not something, obviously, not in the leagues that I've played in where it was a big thing, but you used to concentrate on your pro zone stats and your how many meters you covered because you didn't want to get in trouble on the Monday morning or whatever. But no, stats are there for the people on the outside of the game. For us, it's a matter of 90 minutes and getting the 3 points, and I think the rest of it is leave it to the powers that be.
Yeah, but now maybe you have a little more time to focus on your FPL team. I need to know if you have more time or less time as you transition from player to trainer and coach, recently launching Limitless Coaching, a football and sports specific training business. So how much time are you having to focus on your FPL team?
It's crazy because although I've got nothing but time, it's especially in the pandemic and the circumstances we're all in, got nothing but time, but I find myself racing to do things rather than, I think it's because of the time differences. I think because when I was living back home, when I was living in the UK, it was a matter of I wake up in the morning and I pick my team before the first game starts.
Yeah,
I have to do it the night before here now, and I'm waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to put a game on and forgetting that I've done my team. I haven't done my team, which has happened a couple of times. So it's a little bit different, but I still got plenty of time to sort it out, and I get the majority of the things sorted in time.
That's the first step, right? Just making sure you have that lineup sorted before the deadline. Speaking of the business, though, how much or how difficult has that transition been to launching this fitness, this coaching business?
Well, it's Limitless F&F coaching. It's football and fitness. Me and my brother, we've been talking about it for a long time. But obviously in the middle of playing and whatever, and didn't know when I was going to be moving over here. Once we finalized that and we moved over in August, it was a matter of just getting things rolling. And obviously the hardest time in the history of the world for all of us to try and start something like this with the pandemic and lockdowns and restrictions, and we're sort of tiptoeing into it. The coaching side of it, we've done a little bit before we came into the new lockdown and before the fields all closed up. But we're running our fitness. We run sports specific stuff. We're not. We don't work CV. We don't work upper body. We're not one of those who goes out and worry about what we look like.
Yeah.
We're not about what you see on the outside. We're working on things that relate to sport in general: hockey, basketball, baseball, soccer, football, whatever. We're doing stuff where it's all single leg specific, and we do stuff that I find over my 21 year professional career that has evolved so much since when I started to when I was finishing off. It's something that's different and something that I found I would have benefited from if it was there 21 years ago. And now that it sort of grew into the game and into the training regimes of all coaches from all steps of the earth. I think it's something that needs to be implemented even at youth. So we're trying to get that done. We've got a couple groups on board now through Woodstock Soccer Club here where I'm living. We've got teams from other cities around, and I've even got guys from the UK who I know, friends and whatever, who join in at 12 o'clock at night over there, and they jump on our sessions. And we're open to newcomers. It's something because it's online. It's virtual,
this would be a great asset for youth teams looking to gain an advantage during a time when pandemic restrictions limit the amount of on-field training sessions they can get. So how would a team benefit from signing up to Limitless Coaching?
Well, it's just a matter of, with it being online, it's come on, we manicure it to things you want. We obviously have bigger groups because we only have so many hours in the day. But we add teams into each other, and they work together, and you push each other. Whether you have your camera on or not, that's down to you. Because we know how people are. When they're people they don't know, they get a little bit self-conscious. But that's not our That's not what we're out to. We're out to make sure that the individual gets better. And we've been running, it's been going well. And I think just strengthening things, we did it for a hockey team through the summer. Only under 12, under 13 girls. And their coach came back saying, what have you guys been doing? Like, because half the team showed up and they were 2 times, 3 times fitter than the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something we feel will benefit, especially coming from somebody who's played the game. I know what I lacked when I was younger. Yeah. I know what I improved on when I got older and when I got stronger, and I'd like to pass that on. And hopefully once things loosen up a little bit and restrictions are a little bit more free flowing and give us the chance to get out and coach properly, we'll be getting the soccer stuff going. So we'll see. It's going slowly, but it's definitely going, and we're looking forward to what the future holds.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. And I think for me, the thing that separates Limitless coaching from any other fitness business is you. I would love to have been coached by someone who never gave up, continued to push through in times of adversity. In 2008, you suffered a skull fracture while with Barnsley in a match against Sheffield United, and remarkably returned to play the next season. Then later in your career, you went to India, put in work. You were loved by the locals, voted the best player in the league's first season. How do you feel about these moments when you look back on your career?
I think first and foremost, like, fracture my skull was something that wasn't expected. The fans at Barnsley were incredible. The club was incredible with me. But it was something that nobody had really seen. Petr Cech had a hairline fracture a couple of years previous. But nobody'd seen something like mine, and it essentially went and changed the whole outlook on concussion protocols and head injuries and all that. But coming back from that, I think it was for me, it was my first major injury. I'd had hamstring pulls and quad pulls and calf pulls and whatever at small points and various points in my career, but I'd never had anything like that. And I think to come back from that, I think it was never in doubt. It was never a question mark. I was always going to be back. It was just a matter of when. But I'll be honest, and I'll say the hardest thing in my career, although it never really extended my career much longer, was coming back from my ACL and when I did it in India. That was hard because you literally have to follow the book and you have to follow the protocols and everything that's laid out for you. You can't rush it. Yeah. So that was the hardest one for me. But hey, I've had an incredibly long career and I've overcome a lot of things and I've had a lot of ups and downs, and that's what I want to pass on to people. Yeah. Like that's the whole thing, like you're saying, going back, is that's what I want to pass on is I'm not the fastest, but I'm not the slowest. I'm not the biggest at all, but I'll win more headers than majority of people on the field. Mm-hmm. I'll win more battles than majority of people on the field, and I'll never give up. And that's something that I've played nearly 600 games because of that. Not because I'm incredible. I'm not bad. I'm not gonna knock myself down that much. I'm not bad, but I'm not incredible. But one thing you know for sure is you'd want to go to war with me, and I think that's something that every coach and player that I've played with will hopefully tell you.
Yeah, we'll see how competitive you are when we get into this FPL draft a little bit. We do have one more. I do have one more topic to get to before we do our head-to-head draft. Got to talk about the Canadian national team right now. Alphonso Davies scored an absolute beauty, eh? And Jonathan David has finally found his finishing boots at Lille as well. So I have to ask you: is this the most talented Canadian team ever? And if so, what are your expectations of this group?
I think with those two players, you have two. I don't want to say world class yet. I don't want to knock them. They are incredible players. Top striker in Jonathan David. Like I love watching him play. His movement, his finishing in front of goal. He got a lot of stick at the start of his move to Lille, but hey, he started banging them now, and their team. I think they're top of the league still, aren't they?
Yeah.
So hey, to do that with Paris Saint-Germain in the league, it's incredible. And Alphonso Davies, come on, the guy's a phenom. But I don't want to call him world class yet. He's one of the best in the world. But if he continues it for a couple of years, then he'll be classed as world class. And massive congrats to him. Great finish, like you said the other day. But he's gone and won the World Club Cup. Yeah. And there's another trophy in his cabinet. The guy's 21 years old.
Losing count, man.
And 21, 22 years old, and the guy's got trophy upon trophy upon trophy. But I think with the national team, I think they're very young, which I like. they have a lot to build up for. If they can, you're saying what are their aims? I think if they can qualify for Qatar outright, I think that's incredible. It's going to be tough, we know that, but I think they've got strength and depth. They've got a good mixture of older players, and I think qualifying for Qatar would be the biggest achievement that Canada's ever had in soccer.
But is that enough? Like, or do you expect them to do more and actually compete at a World
baby
Cup?
steps?
Like how high? Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, we haven't qualified since Mexico.
That's right.
Listen, let's not overshoot and say, oh, this team's incredible. We did beat the US, but we also got beaten badly by the US. Mm-hmm. So we have to take things into perspective, and finding that level of consistency with the younger players is incredible. If you can get that, if John Herdman can continue the way he's got them playing and get that level of consistency at such a young age, this is a national team that can be together for the next 10 years or so. Like, we've got to think about that long term. Qualifying for Qatar is the first step.
Yeah,
we're hosting 4 years later. Like, that's the thing. We have to look at that as doing the hard work now and laying that groundwork. We qualify for Qatar. You think about the amount of investment that's going to come into Canadian soccer years after that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how. And this isn't my coaching head. This is me, former player head, coming. Like, you think about the amount of money that should and hopefully will get thrown into soccer if we qualify for Qatar.
Of course.
Forget hosting. That's going to have its natural source of income and source of grassroots progress. I think before that, if we can get into Qatar, if they can continue playing the way they are and get that level of consistency, then I think this team has something special for all people to see. And we'll compete with the US, we'll compete with Mexico, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Honduras. All these guys will be irrelevant. It won't be a fear factor anymore.
That's just it. Well, it's definitely an exciting time to be a fan of the Canadian national team. And I think Davies and David will both be selected in our FPL draft, which we will do now. So let's get into it. It's the first head-to-head draft on the spot. First, some ground rules. We will alternate picks through 15 rounds and get a lineup decided before the game week deadline. Same guidelines as the FPL draft format. Same scoring rules apply. And Ian, I'll let you go first. Who do you pick first in the FPL draft?
First, I'm going to go with the double game week. So we have Leeds have got a double game week. Yeah. I'm going to take Bamford.
Okay. Yeah, so increase your odds of him scoring. Mm-hmm. And Bamford usually picks himself, and it's just whether or not he captains himself, I guess. But it's not a bad pick, first overall. For me, since you took Bamford, I think I would have taken him first overall. I'll take Bruno Fernandes then, Manchester United midfielder who's pretty good in FPL. So that's my first pick.
His points have been waning a bit over the last couple of weeks, which has ticked me off because I put him in my team. Yeah. I'm not a big United fan, so I'm not going to pick a lot of their players. So kind of.
He's still good, and he's got Newcastle coming up. So I love the matchup. Exactly. I think it's a safe pick for me. I hope so. Who knows? It's FPL. You never know.
Well, I'm going to go with one of my favorites. So I'm going to go for one of my favorite midfielders this year, and Jack Grealish as my number 2 pick.
Very good. Jack Grealish. I like that. But then if you're taking Grealish, that means you're leaving Harry Kane for me. And that's who I'm going to take with my second pick. I'm going to take Harry Kane.
I wasn't going to go that big so early, but I guess you've gone for the 2 big hitters.
I just said, yeah.
Kind of fortunate this is a draft because you wouldn't have the money for the rest of the team.
That's right. But since it's a draft, I could just go get the big hitters right away.
All right. Well, I'm going to go home then. I know it's a big derby on the weekend. He's not scored many goals as of late. Scored in Europe last night. I'm going for Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane. So you're taking Sadio Mane over Mo Salah, which means I should.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I should probably take Mo Salah before you get a chance.
You're like the Abramovich of draft. Yeah. You guys just chucking money away here. Yeah. All right. So you've got that. See, Salah, when he gets rattled a little bit, especially in Derby. Yeah, I know he scores goals in the Derby, but he gets rattled a little bit.
That's some insider information. I wasn't prepared for it. It's good.
Yeah. Well, being a Liverpool fan, I pay too much attention. Okay, well, I'm going against my United line, but I'm going to go for Cavani. I think this week's a good week for him. Home to Newcastle. I think there's going to be plenty of goals there, and the way he plays and the way Newcastle play, more physical game. I think it's good for him.
Yeah, I think he's finding his feet now as well. He's been active, setting up, scoring recently. So yeah, Cavani's a good pick. And we are 7 players in, and we haven't taken a Manchester City player yet. So I think it's time for me to take Raheem Sterling, first City player off the board.
I need to get involved in this draft, Lark, because I don't have to worry about the money. This is incredible, the amount of money you're throwing around here.
Well, normally in a draft, you have 8, 10, 12 teams, so you're not able to pick these players.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah. If you're picking for first overall, you're not picking again for
it's
a while.
Like an all-star game.
That's the,
okay.
Fun.
Going off your logic there with no City players, I'm going to go for their form man right now. Hopefully he's okay for the weekend, and Ilkay Gundogan.
Yeah. Man, he's not slowing down.
No, he's just always in the right place. Always in the right place at the moment.
Yeah, fun player to watch for sure. Okay, you want me to stop spending so much money? I'm going to go with a player who's been in form as well, and would not have anticipated taking this player this early in a draft. But I'm going to take Lewis Dunk.
Ooh.
Lewis Dunk. First defender taken off the board. It's a weird one, I know.
It is a weird one.
He's been solid lately.
He has. He always has been, to be honest. Him and funny enough, I used to have him and who's the other boy that Brighton used to have, the big Irish, Duffy. I used to get the two of them because they were cheap. You get them two, and then you get Alexander-Arnold and Robertson or something like that. So
brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with City. I've got him in my normal fantasy. João Cancelo.
Oh, very good.
He's been playing very, very well as of late and getting good points. So
that's just it. He's one that can get forward a little bit too. I'm going to go back to a double game week player because I don't have one yet. You pick Bamford first. I'm going to take Rafinha of Leeds, who's been pretty good recently as well.
Okay.
And he's got the double game week, so hopefully that's my advantage.
I'm going to follow you there.
All right.
And I'm going to grab Harrison.
Okay.
So
he's been solid too.
Yeah, he has, and he pops up with assists. And see, it was either him or I was going to pick either him or Dallas.
Yeah, Stuart
Dallas has been getting points as well. But I'll stick with Harrison.
Okay, I'm going to take Cesar Azpilicueta because for some reason Thomas Tuchel likes him.
For some reason.
Yeah.
In fairness to him, he has been solid for the last 5-6 years. Like he's one of those.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
he's always there. A couple of years ago, he was a big point getter in fantasy, but that's slacked over the last couple of years as Chelsea's form has slacked. All right, well, I'll follow you, and I'll stick with City. And for me, with Diaz coming in, has completely elevated John Stones' game. So John Stones is coming into my team.
Yes.
Fun fact, he was a ball boy and a youth team player at Barnsley when I was there.
Ah, very good. So you know him well.
I used to. He's obviously gone on to bigger and better things. Very good. I actually played with him in his first pro game in a reserve game. He played right back, I played right wing.
Ah, it's a close connection with him then.
You know, used to know. Yeah. He's like I said, he's gone on to bigger and better things, and he forgets the little people now. Now he was a great lad back then, and I'm imagining he's only the same now.
Yeah, very cool. Danny Ings be my second forward taken.
Yeah, he was on my radar. He was on my radar, but I think with Chelsea, the way Chelsea's been playing, it's a tough one. But I was
thinking about taking Ings early, and then just got distracted by players like Lewis Dunk for some reason. But Ings is still there, so I'll take him now.
Well, I'm gonna go for, I've got my strikers apart from one, so I'm going to go for the gift that just keeps on giving in Jamie Vardy. The guy just keeps scoring, doesn't matter how old. He's like Benjamin Button, this guy. So he's going straight in my team. And
how many more years do you think he can keep?
I think he just signed another 2-year deal.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's slowing down.
Hey, he doesn't, and he doesn't look like he's fit. He's banging goals. He's still a pest.
Yeah,
and he's quick as heck for somebody who's 35. It's a good going. Wow. Fingers crossed he keeps going.
Okay, I'm gonna take another Chelsea defender, Rudiger, who has also found a solid spot with Thomas Tuchel.
You lose points for own goals, or
you do. He's the only one to score on Chelsea.
Exactly.
Chelsea, yeah.
All right. Well, again, going purely off the scheduling, not because I'm a fan, I'm going to go for Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Set pieces against Newcastle, attacking wise, I think he could bang a goal, and I'll be surprised if Newcastle can score against them. I'd think so. With Wilson being out for Newcastle, their pacing behind is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
So I think when teams stay in front of United, they defend quite well in blocks. So I think he'll keep a clean sheet and possibly bang me a set piece back post header.
Okay.
So I'll
go speaking for of United, then I'm going to take Marcus Rashford. He's he hasn't been as consistent recently, but
no, he's been kind of poor.
That's a
for his standard. For his standard,
of course. Yeah. What is it with him? Do you think? Like, because you watch him play, he gets in good areas. He's got good touch.
He's got great technique. I just don't know. I think a lot of the time, especially with him, he needs to run at people. Like Martial, I think you look at United and teams playing against United now, and they're starting to play against them the way they play against Liverpool. They're setting their blocks and they're not getting caught out. Whether Newcastle have the players to do that at Old Trafford is another story. So I think as much as I like Newcastle and I have good mates who are Newcastle fans and I've been to watch Newcastle games and all that, I think if United score early, it could be a 4 or 5 one.
Yeah, it could open up.
Yeah.
They got the offense.
Yeah, you got Bruno, yeah.
All
right.
So.
Well, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go for, again, stylistically, West Brom against Burnley. I'm gonna take James Tarkowski. I think clean sheet could be on the cards there for them if they play the way they can. Depends on Ben Mee. I don't know.
Right.
He went off injured the other day, so hopefully he's not too bad.
Yeah, smart matchup play. I'm going to the bank again and spending some money, splashing some money around again. I think I'm going to take Son Heung-min, Tottenham. Interesting matchup, but I had Kane, my second pick. May as well double up with those guys, right?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
But it depends. West Ham are playing well. I know it's a London derby and Kane likes banging in London derbies, and I think Kane and Son, they started out the season incredibly. Son, he's in my team, and I think he's got me like 4 points in 3 weeks, killing me. All right. Well, I'm gonna go back home again. Big game on the weekend at Anfield against Everton. Been quiet, but I've gone for Mane, so I'm gonna go for his partner behind him. I'm going for Andy Robertson. I think the two of them could cause Seamus Coleman massive amounts of problem.
Robertson's due, right?
He is. Him, Trent, Mo, Mane. They're all due. They're all well past due. They're in overdraft. These guys.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take one player that I picked up my FPL Draft team a little while ago, and he's come through well for me. It's Zinchenko with City.
Good player. I like him.
He's a good player, right?
He started as a number 10, man. He signed for City as a number 10.
Yeah. You see the skill on the ball.
I'm sure you watched the Man City documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you see him playing his the tech cue ball and all that with the South Americans, and the guy didn't look out of place.
Yeah,
I do really like him. But again, he's a City player, so it's one of those. I'm gonna go for the guy who's had far too much criticism in the press, disregarding his actual ability and what he's done for the team at Chelsea, Mason Mount. I think he's an incredible footballer. I think his set piece delivery has got to be in the probably top 5 in the Prem. I think he's been scoring goals, and I think with the way that Tuchel's got them playing, I think he's got the freedom to go and play in front of Kovacic and what's his face, Jorginho. So I'm gonna pick him.
I think the fact that Tuchel's using him so much speaks to his ability as well. Like I think in the past people were thinking he's Lampard's guy. Tuchel's come in and trusted him the same way, just as much on the pitch. So he's been given it. Yeah, he's been given his points, and he's been given his set pieces and everything. So I genuinely think he's a very good player now. I'm gone for a young team. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna go with another Chelsea player now. I'm gonna go with Timo Werner, who's been a little bit better, and he finally got that goal. It just had to bundle it over the line from a yard out, but sometimes you just need that to find your feet again and find that. Touch. So
I do like him. I do like him. He's another one who, don't get me wrong, his performances haven't been great, but he gets so much stick in a team that doesn't do much else. Like it's one of those. It's unjust for him, but hey, he got that. Like you said, great finish, by the way. It was a great reaction finish. So
as a
that's
forward,
a good pick.
How much does it weigh on you, I guess, mentally when you get into this sort of drought, when you are a goal scorer expected to score? Because some of these touches he'd have essentially on a breakaway and it'd be so heavy, just completely out of character, but it seems like he's just fighting it anytime he's in a situation to score.
You push yourself too hard and you put pressure on yourself. And I remember I was at Leicester and I was actually playing really well, but I went 19 games without a goal. And I was playing every week. And I ended up scoring. We were playing Colchester away, and I ended up scoring, and just the relief. Like it was literally just the weight off my shoulders. And I think I ended up going on and scoring like 6 and 7 or 6 and 8 or something like that. And it does play on your mind a lot, and you put added pressure.
For Timo.
Yeah, he's that type of player. He's always banged goals and he's always created chances. So I like him. Good choice. Cheers. Hopefully he has a bad week and then next week he picks up.
That's right. All right, on to keepers left. I guess just keepers left for us, both of us now.
All right, I'm going for, in my eyes, England's number 1, Nick Pope. For me, he's the best shot stopper in the league, especially from English keepers. If he played in the top 6, he plays for England every week. I think he's left out for little T-Rex far too much. By big Gareth Southgate. So Nick Pope, England number 1. All
right, you're not alone shouting for him to get with England's first team. I'm gonna go with someone that can potentially get an assist and score from the spot. Take Ederson. They've been keeping clean sheets as well, so defensively they're sound. But the offensive ability of Ederson is intriguing as well.
Yeah, again, for me, he's the best keeper in the league. Even though I love Alisson, Alisson's had some terrible weeks. He's the best keeper in the league right now. His technique's incredible. I'd have him on free kicks and penalties and everything. The guy's that good.
It's crazy especially when you compile them and watch them together. How like the precision on those passes, it's wild. And the ones at the top are great, but when he pings it like basically on the
side volleys, his side volleys are a joke.
It's incredible.
Okay, I'm on my last pick. I'm gonna go for, you won't have thought about this because he's not on a big name or a big team. I'm gonna go for Sanchez from Brighton. I think he's in a very good team. He's a very good ball playing goalkeeper, and he's kept some very important clean sheets as of late. So I do like him.
Why do you think I wouldn't think of him? I picked Lewis Dunk 5th overall.
But that's a center back. He can get goals. Fair. He can. Everyone will look up the line. Like for me, my go-to in my actual league is Martinez at Villa. The guy's been getting great points this year. But I just think this week could be a tough one for him.
Smart man, Ian, playing the matchups. I like it.
Yeah, got you.
All right, my last pick is going to be Chelsea keeper Mendy. Hoping he plays.
Yeah, I like that little bit of doubt I put in your head before. Come on, Kepa.
Well, we'll make our final decisions for our starting 11 on Twitter. So we'll make the final lineup decisions there. So you have to follow us on Twitter. Make sure you do so. Looking forward to this. Should be a good head-to-head battle. We'll have some friendly banter on Twitter. Yeah, so that should be fun as well. Make sure you follow the spots. Follow Ian Hume. Ian, thanks so much for joining me today.
As always, buddy. It's always a pleasure. And keep in touch. And after this weekend, I wish you good luck.
Yeah, that's right. Enemies for now. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like as well. Thanks so much for hanging out at the spot.